live, dude.
We're live.
If you want to say we're live, I mean, it's pre-recorded.
Yeah. Ugh. Hasn't been the best day for me.
So here we are. Sorry for the long delay. We're at show number 7. Show number 7, and I think it's like 3 months that we've been doing this now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not exactly one show every 2 weeks or so, but something about like there. With the holidays, we got a little jumbled.
I had a job change, so that kind of hurt things too. I don't have so much free time. Well, I mean, I have plenty of free time, but I just have weird hours now.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, I think we've skipped over our intros. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Keith. And this is Being Humanist.
Okay, there we go. The secret's out of the bag.
Yeah.
We could almost start off with that if you wanted to. We could, so a couple weeks ago, Keith slipped and threw my name out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, hell with it, we're going with it.
Yeah.
So this week, Paul,
Yeah.
or Keith, formerly known as Paul,
Yep.
has come out of the closet.
Yeah. Well, all of my friends know. And those are the people I see more than anyone. My parents don't know per se, but they have a good idea. Plus, my mom is fully aware that I am not into religion at all. She knows that I have a real aversion toward it, and she knows that I'm not going to go to church. And I think that both of my parents kind of know where I stand, but they choose not to acknowledge it. I don't know if that's healthy, but I'm letting it go for now. My mom bought me I felt like this was almost an olive branch. For Christmas this year, she bought me a book, the Universe, the big Smithsonian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's this big, giant, thick book that talks about the Big Bang and all of this scientific stuff that she is scared of.
Right.
But in knowing that all of that was in there, she still gave it to me as a gift, and I kind of took that as a way of her saying, "Here, this is for you. I know that we're different.
I accept you."
Yeah. And she asked me also at Christmas dinner, "Are you a liberal now?" And I said, "Well, Mom, I would say yes, and I've kind of been that way for a long time." And she said, "Well, when you were a little boy, you used to like Ronald Reagan." And I said, "Well,
I liked Ronald Reagan."
Yeah, I was like, for one, I was a little boy, and I'm not saying that you have to have the mind of a child to like Ronald Reagan. I mean,
He was funny.
Yeah, there are probably things about Reagan that were good, but
I remember laughing. I remember everybody laughing at him.
Right.
I mean, literally, as far as I can remember, we were having good times in the 80s. My dad loved Ronald Reagan. My dad probably still loves Ronald Reagan.
but when you're like a 8-9-year-old boy, you don't know why you like Ronald Reagan. You like Ronald Reagan because your mom and dad like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, true.
But we just kind of skimmed over that, and I basically said, "Mom, I don't see things the way you do. I think everybody should get a fair shake, and I believe in equality." And she said, "Well, sometimes I agree with things you say," because she stalks me on Facebook. She's like, but sometimes it's just a little too extreme for me. And I'm like, well, we'll just have to go with that. And
Yeah.
I think we've reached a point of being comfortable with each other. It doesn't matter. She still always tries to there's this book she really wants me to read. I think it's called Heaven and Hell or something like that.
Okay.
And it talks about space stuff. It's a fictional book. It's Christian fiction.
Okay.
And I think she thinks that if I read this book, I'm going to be Pascal's wagered into, because there's a lot of scary stuff about hell in it, and it kind of, I believe she told me that black holes have evil spirits coming out of them in this book and things like that, and And that's cool. I bet it would be, and I bet it would be a good read.
Yeah.
But I just have a feeling that she only wants me to read this book because she thinks it's going to awaken the old me or something like that.
You need to tell her that the Pope now thinks that even atheists are going to go to heaven.
Actually, the Pope has recently also said that he doesn't believe that modern Catholics do not believe in a literal hell. We can find that story at some point. But yeah, I'm just going to go out there. And I mean, my name is Keith, and everyone that is a close friend of mine knows that I am a secular humanist. And that's just the way it is. And I'm proud of it.
Way to go, buddy.
I've probably got still a little ways to go with the family, but and family outside of my parents don't know, and they don't really need to know.
You know what, though, even with all this, your mom saying that she agrees with some of the things you say, like she stalks you on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's literally just that exposure.
Yeah.
When somebody has an exposure with a different viewpoint than theirs,
Right.
and they get a chance to look at it and see what it's all about, then I think they kind of start to, that's not to say that you're
Yeah.
going to change everybody's viewpoint, because I think you change based on you.
Yes.
But
Well, it's been a long time coming, man. As you know, it's stuff that was bubbling when I was a teen, and I pushed it back under until I was in my mid-20s.
and you can go back to episode number 1 and hear the story.
Yeah, hey, go back if you want to hear the full story. But yep, I'm getting to be a little more comfortable in my own skin. It's just tough.
Hell, I'm not going to lie, even though I came out by accident a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
there's still that nervousness that somebody's going to run across this. Even my dad, because I know that I've said some things. I talked about my dad being a young Earth creationist and kind of laughed about it. And I mean, while my dad may believe what's written in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and Dad, I love you, even though I don't think you've read the Bible, I still love the guy.
Of course. Of course. And I love my parents with every inch of my being,
Yeah.
like every ounce of my being. And like they have trouble with the homosexual thing. They just can't. My mom just told me that's just something I'm never going to come around to. And I just let it go. I just pretended I didn't hear her say it. And I thought, it's Christmas. Let's just have
Yeah, I get you.
good. She was trying to talk politics with me all Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
That didn't even happen with my dad
Yeah.
at all. We just enjoyed each other's company, which was nice.
Well, we enjoyed each other's company, but I really think that she just wants to get a full understanding of me, and I think that we've kind of almost found it. I was really touched by the universe gift, because I know that kind of thing, like the Big Bang and shit
Right.
like that. She's not down with that. She's not down with the Big Bang.
I'm down with the Big Bang.
Even though if you think about it, yeah. Even though if you think about it, as far as the Big Bang goes, even if there was a God, which there could be, I don't think so, but there could be.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the Big Bang have to go away? That could just explain, like, God snapped his fingers, Big Bang.
Yeah, could be.
So I don't understand why and same with evolution. It's like, why deny those things? There's just so much evidence for them.
It's that whole, I think, I've said this a number of times, it's like, even on this show, I'm sure, there could be a God. That doesn't mean it has to be the Christian, Muslim.
Could just be a generic
It
God.
could just be a creator, if you will, as deists would believe.
Yeah. That's, whatever. I don't think so, but it's a possibility. You can't say it's not. This reminds me, we probably won't, this is not scheduled, so I won't say much about it.
Okay.
But the page of Huffington Post today is Darwin weeps. 1 in 3 Americans don't believe in evolution. So 33% of Americans don't believe in evolution. That's sad. That's something that's got to change.
That was all I could do was sigh. The one thing I hate about this is, especially if you go to huffingtonpost.com and see the story, you'll see the typical artist rendering of ape to man,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is what really throws a lot of people off.
Yeah, it's too simple. It's too simplified. Like, it's more of a branching thing than it is just a straight line across.
Which
Like,
is why we ain't come from no monkey.
yeah,
That's the whole deal. It's like, yeah, I understand you're frustrated, and why doesn't a monkey just have a human baby? Yeah, I get it. It's way more complex than that.
a lot of people don't even realize that, along the lines of 10, 20,000 years ago, there was more than one species of human.
Yeah.
Like dogs, you got all these, or dogs are basically subspecies of wolves. And
Right.
we got humans like Neanderthals, Denisovans, and Homo sapiens. Those are three from the Homo genus. That's three separate species of human, and there may be even a fourth unknown that they found linked to. I believe it was the Aborigines. I believe had some sort of unknown human ancestor that there's no name for it. This comes from this actually came from mapping the Neanderthal genome, fully mapping it. So I guess it wouldn't be Aborigines, but whatever. This is just rambling.
I know, it's totally rambling. It's gonna make me ramble even further because the whole story on Noah's Ark and two animals, blah blah blah, all onto the boat, right? I don't know if I think it was Seth Andrews, the Thinking Atheist, who had this on one of his shows, but basically he was talking with some psychologist or whatever, or there was a story submitted by a psychologist or philosopher or whatnot, and the question was, okay, so what about koalas? What about these animals that show up in like Tasmania and Australia and New Zealand that don't show up anywhere else?
Right.
It's like how did they get there?
How did they get from the northern part of the Middle East down to Australia? And they eat eucalyptus leaves. And so then he asked the guy, he's like, so how do you explain that? Well, they must have eaten something else along the way. Well, are you saying that they evolved?
Yeah. Okay, so you're on the same, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, it is December 30th, correct?
Yeah, it is December 30th.
That means that my vacation is almost over, which is a little sad. But it is December 30th, and all over the news in the last 30 days has been a war on Christmas.
Yeah, the war on Christmas, and I'm air quoting big time right now.
What's your personal opinion on the war on Christmas?
I think it's a majority group sensing the loss of complete privilege in their favor. They're noticing the inclusive attitude that's starting to emerge in the United States, and they don't like that. They don't want. They want this to be a country that is for Christians, or by Christians for Christians, and when we start to include all of these other religions, cultures, blah blah blah, they're not happy about it. And I think this strong reaction, this supposed war on Christmas, is just kind of them lashing out in panic. I think they want to gain the sympathy of people. They are now the persecuted, the ones that are being persecuted. No, it's just that we're trying to be more inclusive. We're not excluding Christians. We're including more people. And some of us want to say Happy Holidays to be inclusive.
Right.
And it's okay to say Merry Christmas.
I don't care if you say Merry Christmas.
I could care less if someone said Merry Christmas. And I say Merry Christmas.
I was too.
Yeah,
it's a greeting. It's a may you have good fortune. May you have fun times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is in December 25th in the United States. The name of that holiday is Christmas. And as it approaches Christmas, it's okay to say Merry Christmas. Whatever. To me, if you're an atheist and you have that big of a problem with Merry Christmas, you're focusing on the wrong things. But I don't really think there are that many atheists that do. At least the ones that I know.
I don't know that I've really noticed anybody that have an amazing problem with it. I think what gets annoying to me is because the Christians in the area are making such a big deal about it, or at least the Christians who are magnified on TV as having an issue with it. you start to see things, and because of this, it's like a prod. It's like somebody sticking me with a prod, and others like me, and they go out and they look for things that would totally hijack what Christmas came from in the first place.
Yeah.
And the idea of a Santa Claus and the idea of a Christmas tree,
Right.
or a Yule tree, for what it's worth. I mean, these are what people need to understand is most of the holidays that we celebrate have been brought on by Christians adopting pagan celebrations to convert people to Christianity.
That's true.
A buddy of ours posted a little thing on Facebook.
Tongue-in-cheek
and
comment.
two buddies actually had a little thing going on. I'm gonna read the first one if you want to read the second.
Yeah, sure.
But so our buddy says, does anyone know who won the war on Christmas? Were there casualties, asset losses? Were any special ops operators injured or killed? I heard on my shortwave radio that 3 nukes were launched from a Typhoon-class sub. Over 100 Tomahawks were deployed from the Pacific Carrier Group, and several B-2 made a few precision airstrikes. I've been watching Fox Opinion News constantly and have not been able to keep back to back up the rumors I heard at a local Tea Party rally. Please help. I'm sorry, man.
That's good.
I hope you guys could follow what I was trying to say. Sorry, it was funny.
That's cool. And another buddy of ours had a nice little comment to add on to that. His response was, well, the war has gone well. Christmas has been forced to retreat into the months of November and December. We eradicated its July stronghold using intel gathered from drone surveillance and a well-executed special ops strike. There were 3 enemy casualties, Dancer and Prancer, and 1 friendly casualty. I can neither confirm nor deny any use of WMDs by either side in this ongoing conflict. Couple of assholes.
I have to
That's
admit, it is humorous because it's this war on Christmas.
Mm-hmm. They're taking the word war literally.
Great way to have a sense of humor about
Yeah,
it.
good stuff. Yeah, and, you know, there's the whole... there's the Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays thing that they like to talk about on the right. And then there's, of course, public displays of the nativity scene, which is another thing. Okay, let's tackle that. Should we be that worried? I understand the principle of it. I understand it. And I understand that if they're going to allow nativity scenes, which is a Christian thing, obviously, everything should be allowed. Everything should be allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But are we hurting our image as humanists by making such a fuss over it?
That's a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because there are bigger fish to fry, honestly.
yeah, and I think you made the point to me earlier that if we go after the bigger things, the more important things, those smaller things will fall.
Mm-hmm.
Which I understand. I don't know whether I can say yes or no to what you propose, but at the same time, I ran across another story. The president of the American Humanist Association threatened to sue a couple schools in Colorado, I believe, for partnering with a religious group to get toys out to some underprivileged kids.
Okay.
And they threatened to sue. I wound up on Fox News with Megyn Kelly. And,
Oh, jeez.
the thing is I don't know if I'm that worried about that, because the group threatened to sue it, and I think Megan actually brought up a pretty good point, which is that she was like, well, what have you done to help the situation? Like, okay, you sued, but are you going to step in and help get those toys to the kids that they were going to in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that he had an answer for that, which is a little frustrating for me. I mean, it's they're trying to do something good, and they're partnering with a group.
Sorry about that, Snow.
So I don't know. I mean, there are some things that I think are a little ridiculous, and then there are other things that I don't think. Well, there are other things that really should be noticed.
Yeah. Now, something that stays up year-round like a Ten Commandments display or something like that, I think that is a full endorsement of a religion.
Which is what's going on in Oklahoma right now.
Right. But if you're going to temporarily place a nativity scene around the Christmas holiday, which is celebrated by a lot of Americans, and a lot of Americans do remember what they consider the birth of Christ on that day. And that's the thing that they need to understand that Christmas has kind of evolved a little bit. It's broadened its scope as to what the holiday is. There's gift giving, there's gathering. It's more about coming together with friends and family and celebrating life as much as it is celebrating the birth of Christ. Like, yeah, if you want to go ahead and tack on the birth of Christ to that, which of course to most Americans is the reason for the season, that's fine. But if some of us want to just recognize that Christmas holiday is a time for people to gather and celebrate life, like I said, why can we not both have those things without all of this uproar?
I don't know. I kind of want a big winter solstice thing on the courthouse lawn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to allow one, you have to allow them all. You have to, and that's where I think maybe in the future it's going to come down to just no religious displays of any kind, holiday or nothing, or not, on any public ground. It's going to have to come to that, and I think that's probably the way it should be.
I think it should be as well.
Yeah, I mean, not even a humanist message should be there. There should be no endorsement of any worldview on government property, in my opinion.
That's interesting.
I'm just saying keep it neutral.
Yeah. But at the same time, you think about things like quotes or whatnot that presidents have said that have, quotes on the monuments.
Okay, let's put it this way. Something maybe not humanist, let's say expressly atheist messages. Like, it's not necessary on a courthouse lawn or inside of a school that's a public school. Those places have a function, and that's all they need to serve.
You think about the courthouse here in town. I'm sure most of them do, but justice to all. I mean, to me, there's a humanist quality about that. When you think about those things, you know what I mean. So to me, that's I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't mean so much humanist as expressly anti-religious or
right.
I just don't think there should be a position taken at all from.
It should be neutral.
Yes, and I think it'll get there one of these days. I really do. But I do think that that's one of the least important things for atheists, humanists, secularists to focus on. It's small potatoes. I mean, we've got intelligent design people trying to infiltrate public school classrooms. That's big. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
That has long-lasting effects. We've got politicians that are Bible thumping within the halls of Congress, and
Governor Perry making a law saying that you can't stop somebody from saying Merry Christmas in school.
Like they were doing that anyway.
Yeah, I know.
It's Texas. See, those are the things I think we need to get back to, that separation of church and state, because the lines have gotten too blurred for people. Now, I wouldn't say the government, like, I think that people that are serving, obviously in the judicial branch of government, know the law, because people on our side of things always win the case.
Exactly.
I mean, but the
that's
actual,
not to sound cocky either. That's just
it's
the law. It's common sense.
Right. But the citizens of the United States aren't quite so clear on
which
the
is
establishment
so frustrating.
Clause. Yeah. Which is an excellent lead-in to another story, unless you have something else.
Well, there's a part of me that wants to do a segment where you pull out a silly Bible verse that contradicts everything that you ever do. Or
okay.
That could be fun, just to bring out a contradictory Bible verse against things that you celebrate as a Christian.
And I know, I remember you saying you have one here.
So this will kind of end the war on Christmas discussion that we're having. But
should I pull up the actual verse that's...
I have it right.
Okay, you've already got it.
I have it right here. Okay.
Okay.
So, I ran into this meme. Actually, son, it's a Yule tree. The Christian Bible forbids decorating trees from the forest. Jeremiah 10, how's that said?
10:1 through 25.
10:1 through 25. Forgive me for being Bible illiterate. I don't know if that says much for me, but
Yeah, it's okay.
anyway, a lot of times I find these things and people post these quotes or memes and things about the Bible, and finding a piece of scripture that is extremely ridiculously funny because Christians today decorate Christmas trees, pine trees, with gold and silver and things, right? Excuse me, sorry about that.
Heathens.
So I saw this Jeremiah 10:1 through 25, and I thought, I'm going to look this up because I got to know. And it says, Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree. But speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. Pour out thy fury upon the heathen that know thee not, and upon the families that call not on thy name. For they have eaten up Jacob, and devoured him, and consumed him, and have made his habitation desolate.
Poor Jacob.
Sometimes it's so hard to read that.
Yeah, you pulled the old King James version out. There is that New International version. That some consider not as valid, even though the King James version has to be like, who knows how many translations took place before King James, but you do have like these purists for the King James version of the Bible. I've known them in my life.
Yeah.
And that's just ridiculous.
It's there. All you gotta do is look it up, Jeremiah 10:1 through 25. It's there. It's a sin. It's a sin to have Christmas trees.
Yep. So next time I come to one of your houses, Christian friends of mine, I don't want to see a Christmas tree in there because if we're gonna stop gays from being married, you can't have Christmas trees. No more Red Lobster either.
I'm ready for it to stop being called holiday tree too now.
Right.
I just want to hear it called Yule tree.
Right. Right.
And Santa Claus is a fat German man.
And don't give us that Old Testament excuse either, because Jesus said, Matthew 5:17 and 18, I did not come to abolish the law or the prophets.
Oh man. Okay. We did have a perfect lead into the next story, and then I totally ransacked it.
I probably jumped the gun.
Were we going right into the American Humanist org website? Because we were going to go read some hate mail.
Christmas hate mail? Yeah, let's read the Christmas hate mail. I didn't pull that one up. I need to do that.
Okay, so the American Humanist Association.
Wait a minute. Where is it?
With a tagline of "Good without a God." They've received a bunch of Christmas hate mail.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, I don't know that there's really a short link for this, but go to AmericanHumanist.org. Within the article, they have their top 10 favorite Christmas hate mails. And I think most of this is probably because of what I just told you about. They threatened to sue the school administration for partnering with the church to deliver toys. So that's what this is all based off of.
You want to take turns reading them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll start with number 10.
Okay.
Is Hitler your idol, you bunch of child-hating jackasses? God bless. Go out and celebrate the birth of Jesus.
Gott mit uns. He wasn't an atheist. Come on. Stop it. That one's just dumb. That one speaks for itself. Do we even have to comment on that?
I don't think so.
Hitler. Okay, that's enough. Hate mail number 9. Highland School fundraiser in Colorado. Are you kidding me? You want them to stop collecting funds and gifts for children? Really? Am an attorney in Colorado. He didn't start the sentence.
Yeah, they didn't really use correct punctuation or grammar.
Am an attorney in Colorado, considering how I can prevent this. What, you'd rather our children turn to Muslims who want to kill us? Really?
I'm sorry, but if you're going to be an attorney and you're going to make mention that you're an attorney and you're going to send them an email and it's going to be that badly written, you are not an attorney that I will ever hire.
I don't think so. He probably got his degree from one of those little, express degree things like Kent Hovind did. The creationist Dr. Dino, who's in jail for, okay. Yeah, hate mail number 8.
Hate mail number 8, wow. You hate he who created you so much that you've bedded down with Satan himself. I read about your getting a teacher fired over here, right, to practice her chosen religion by praying. Burn in hell, you self-righteous pious assholes. Pious assholes. Yeah. Sorry. Burn in hell. Here I just totally ruined somebody's grammar and I can't
burn
say
in
word.
hell, you self-righteous pious assholes. Burn in hell. If someone who's pious... in the eyes of a Christian, why would they be burning in hell? But and also that's one thing that's always gotten me. Why would, as a Christian, you believe that hell is the ultimate form of suffering, the ultimate punishment, eternal suffering? You have to be pretty sick to wish that upon someone. Yeah. You have to have a real problem.
I don't even think it needs to be said. Real Christian, huh? Mm-hmm. But there it is.
Well, I don't buy it. A Christian is a Christian.
Hate mail number 7?
Hate mail number 7. I can't believe you sons of bitches would take Christmas away from little children. Don't you idiots realize that the vigilante is going to crash on your ass when it does? All hell will break loose. Sorry for the run-on there. There's no comma. Look up, look down, and watch out. It's going to happen.
Thank you, Danny B.
So, yeah, I guess there's going to be a vigilante, and he's going to crash down on their asses. Yeah. And all hell's going to break loose. Yeah. Wow. I don't know, is it... what do you say about these?
I don't know. Hate mail number 6. I read the story on Fox News about how your organization threatened a small charter school in South Carolina because they wanted to give Christmas presents to children who needed them. You are a hate group who I hope one day will die an ugly, horrible death. My only regret is that I will not be the one of the ones who can help provide that opportunity to the world by ridding people like you from our society. I cannot believe an organization like yours would want to harm little children. Unfortunately, liberal assholes like yourself are the reason our country has fallen apart. Like I stated already, I hope each and every last one of you die the most horrible deaths that can possibly be imagined. And by the way, I will include my email address and my name, so if you want to report me for this, your liberal asshole friends be my guest. Jay Baker, not your friend.
Talk about Christ-like. Let's just move on. Hate mail number 5. Okay. Just saw Herr Professor Dr. Oberlieutenant Roy Speckhart on Fox. Like all humanists, with quotes, his real is that normal people don't worship people like Speckhart. Well, just keep on pushing around people like me, Speckhart. That keep had a lot of E's in it. Yeah. One day we'll say to hell with the ballot box and reach for the cartridge box. Since like all leftists, you people believe you're entitled to rule the rest of us by dictate, you should be unsurprised that at some point people like me will decide to dispense with democratic niceties and point our guns at your faces and say you can leave our country on a boat or in a box. We don't give a shit. Well, okay, Billy Bob. You know what? And people wonder why we want stricter background checks.
Hey, mail number 4. I will take a shot of who you people are. Question mark?
Huh?
Gay and lesbians who never had a nice Christmas. You have no pride in themselves or country. This is what it says.
Yes.
Are you scared? Why would you change people's thoughts on God? Leave it the way it is. Even atheists, which my grandfather was still celebrated for family. There is absolutely no freaking comma in that sentence.
Jeez. And country.
And country. Maybe you found out there is no tooth fairy at a late age. I found out there was no God at an early age. So the sorry, I digress. So pull the dick out butts and leave God alone. The best thing you people can do for society, going home and kill yourself.
I'm never gonna stop saying pull the dick out butts. I'm gonna use that. Oh, hey, pull the dick out butts, guys. Leave God alone while you're at it.
Oh gosh.
Oh, this next one's a treat. Fuck all you motherfuckers. I hope you fuckers die. Mind your own business. If I ever meet any of you, I'll kick your stupid ass. Fuck off. Well, that was constructive.
Oh man. Calm down. Okay.
All right.
Hey, mail number 2. I just came across your website. Please kill yourselves and everyone that follows your shit-eating ideals.
Should I kill myself first or kill them and then kill myself?
Do the world a favor and kill your children as well.
Oh. I see. Yeah. Seems reasonable.
I'm sorry.
Seems a reasonable request.
Oh, man.
And here's the last one. Have you considered suicide? If not, now would be a grand time. No one will miss you. I can promise you that.
Oh,
Wow.
there were some good ones in there.
Such vitriol.
Thank you, American Humanist Associate, AmericanHumanist.org, for posting your hate mail. That was a fun read.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
All right, shall we just move on?
Yeah, I think that was just for entertainment purposes. And it did the job on my end. I don't know.
Well,
I especially pulled dick out butts. Something like that.
okay, so, there's a part of me that's just like, I don't want to talk about this because I don't give a shit. But then there's the other part of me that's like, I want people to know.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, you've heard a lot of this little show called Duck Dynasty.
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever watched it?
I've never willingly watched it. I was at a baby shower once, one of those unisex baby showers, and one of the guys there had a DVR full of Duck Dynasties, and he just wanted to show it off to all of us while we were hanging out in the garage.
Uh-huh.
I paid attention for about 10 minutes and kind of courtesy chuckled at a couple things when everyone laughed, and I said, "Oh, hey," and me and a couple other guys said, "We're gonna go toss the football." The show's harmless for the most part, I guess, but
I agree.
It's reality TV, and I just don't like reality TV.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I'm all about documentaries, if you will, when there's a learning element involved in it, or just fascination. But when you come to these reality TV shows, Duck Dynasty, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's like gossip.
You're right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Which you're not supposed to do.
Right. It just doesn't interest me.
So everybody knows that Phil Robertson, the patriarch, was interviewed in the GQ magazine, and he said some nasty things about gays. Mm-hmm. And that was a big stir. But he also said some nasty things about African Americans as well, which didn't get as much of a stir.
Yeah, somehow that really flew under the radar.
I'm not really sure how that happened. I mean, I think both of them are as equally disturbing.
Right.
Anyway, A&E caved and let him back on the show after they suspended him for a week or two.
Yeah.
And Oh my God, if you didn't know what Duck Dynasty was before that happened,
You
you
do
do
now.
now. Because it's been all over everybody's freaking Facebook feeds. My violation, my freedom of speech, or his, they're talking about Robertson's freedom of speech being attacked.
Right.
What do you have to say about this, Keith? So much nicer to be able to say Keith.
Yeah. Well, first off, that I learned on the day that this news was reported to the world that a good portion of Americans don't understand the concept of freedom of speech or the First Amendment. For instance, someone that could have very well been our vice president doesn't seem to understand freedom of speech. Sarah Palin, she came right out and went ahead and defended him, and she actually invoked freedom of speech, saying, "What's happening to free speech?" Blah, blah, you know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of funny. I found this very funny for her to do this because she didn't seem to have a problem with, when Martin Bashir had... She compared the national debt to slavery, which is completely absurd. And Martin Bashir went ahead and told a little anecdote that came from some sort of, I think it was from a slave's memoirs or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, their master actually, to punish them every once in a while, he would actually have one slave defecate into the mouth of another slave.
Right.
So he was just basically trying to depict the horrors of slavery because she compared it to the national debt. So Bashir suggested that maybe someone should shit in Sarah Palin's mouth. Those were his words.
Right.
And of course, this, on the right, people just exploded. And they were calling for his job and everything else. So where was Martin Bashir's freedom of speech? If that's how freedom of speech works, where was his protection? Why was it not a violation of his freedom of speech for MSNBC to fire him? And I'm going to go on record, MSNBC had every right to fire him because they're a private employer.
Mm-hmm.
And if they felt that Bashir went over the line, which he maybe did, I thought it was funny what he said, but
It probably wasn't very good to say it.
no, but it was MSNBC's call, just like it was A&E's call. Now, if a bunch of military came and knocked on Phil Robertson's door and decided they were going to lock him up somewhere and for the things that he said, then we would have a problem.
Right.
We would have some sort of tyranny happening, and his free speech rights would have been violated because that would be an example of the government punishing someone for what they had said.
Did we see that?
No, we didn't, unless A&E is a government agency, is it?
I don't think so.
I didn't think A&E was one of those government things.
I don't think so.
To my knowledge, A&E is a private employer,
Yes.
and their decision to suspend Phil Robertson was completely valid. The point is yes, freedom of speech, we all have it, but we all have to recognize that there are non-criminal consequences for the things that we say.
Right. We won't be imprisoned for it. We shouldn't be imprisoned for it.
Right. And when we do, then we do have a problem and we should be worried. But in this situation, that's not what happened, guys. I don't care what side of the fence you're on in this issue. His freedom of speech was not violated. He actually exercised his rights, and he suffered the non-criminal consequences, even though it was taken back because of the uproar on the right.
Right.
Now, there was very little uproar on the left for Martin Bashir's firing because we're not...
I'm guessing most people probably, while they laughed at it, also at the same time thought, that was probably too much.
I laughed at it. I thought it was funny that he said that, but I understood when he got fired. I mean, I was kind of like, oh, darn, that sucks that he got fired. But at the same time, I didn't flip my lid because they had every right to do it. I'm not saying that people on the left are smarter than people on the right necessarily. What I am saying is I just feel like it seems like we have a higher understanding of those I don't know.
There's a higher tendency for compassion.
Yes, that's where I'm going. So, even though I cannot stand Sarah Palin, I felt a little bad for her, I guess, when he went off like that. Even though I chuckled. And then you've got the whole thing too, and the Phil Robertson's comments. If it's not freedom of speech, it's his freedom of religion, which also falls into the First Amendment that's being attacked. Again, he's still allowed to practice his religion. He can say whatever he wants. He's not. Nobody's taking his Bible away from him. Nobody's telling him he can't go to church. No one's coming into his house and telling him to surrender all of his religious imagery because blah blah blah. You know. So that's not being violated either.
No.
And this is what I want to know. If there's anyone out there that's religious, I doubt there's that many that's clicking on a Being Humanist podcast. But
Probably not.
if there is anyone out there listening that is religious, I want to know when religion for you became, if you're someone who believes along the lines of Phil Robertson, when did religion become simply a tool for voicing disapproval? Because that's all I'm seeing in the public right now. It's I know a lot of people don't use it in that way, but there is a group of people that do. When did it become a tool of disapproval? Because that seems to me that you're misusing it to bolster the validity of an aversion to something, and which is perpetuating the idea that a certain group of people are second-class citizens and we don't have to share our privilege with them. Like they shouldn't be on equal footing to us. And you're using your religion for that? Is that really what it's supposed to be for?
I don't think so.
That's where I'm getting confused, and I saw so much ugliness off of this Duck Dynasty story.
Yeah,
I mean, it was almost as bad as the 2012 election. The ugliness I saw come from this.
It is amazing sometimes how people can be so offended and hurt and then throw out nasty words. Yeah, it's amazing the ugliness that can come out of people rather than sitting down and thinking for a minute before they speak.
Right. And it's just sad. Like, and I'm sure the first thing I get from someone when I ask, when did religion become a tool for disapproval? Well, I'm sure I'd get, oh no, they give me the whole spiel about gives us meaning, gives us hope. What is life without religion? Like, what is the meaning of life without religion if we don't have this and that and that and blah blah? But you're not practicing it in that way. You're not. I don't know, man.
A little frustrated.
It is frustrating, and it'll. I think it's. I've said before that we are going in the right direction, but every time something like this comes up, it just knocks me down a peg or two with how much progress we've made. It bums me out to see this reaction.
Yeah, I agree.
There are people that I personally know that I did not know were so homophobic.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like that as well who you would consider very nice people, and it brings out the whole idea that, why are you pointing out just the homosexual part of what you're not supposed to do in the Bible? What about all the other stuff that you're not giving a care about?
Yeah.
Especially, I've been seeing a lot lately about how much Jesus preached about not divorcing, which is mentioned a hell of a lot more in the Bible than actual attacks on homosexuality. Right.
It's just very, very disheartening how many people are of that mindset. That reminds me, I kind of want to give a shout out to a blog that I posted for you last night. I'm not going to read from it or anything. It's written by, and I believe she's actually a Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is Rachel Held Evans. She has her own blog. Check out this blog entry. Rachel Held Evans. That's Rachel HELD Evans EVANS.com /blog/literist gluttony. She kind of goes through the title of the actual entry is Everyone's a Biblical Literalist Until You Bring Up Gluttony. And she kind of goes through some of these things about how people focus on homosexuality so much. It's a good read. And
it's a long read.
I applaud her as it's a long read. I applaud her as a Christian for doing the right thing, because I feel like she recognizes that just because she's a Christian, she doesn't get to use her text to keep other people down.
Right.
She can have her own thoughts on those things, but in the wide scale, we must promote equality. We can't use our personal aversions towards something, or our beliefs or views towards something that aren't of the government to keep people down. There's no reason. It doesn't affect you either. So stop hating on the gays, man.
That's your stop hating on the gays, motherfucker.
I was going to say motherfuckers. I just told Mike before the show started that I'm trying to scale back on the F-bombs, just because it seems so angry, and it's so uncreative.
And so unhumanist too, if you will. I mean, yeah, I get it. But we listen to so many podcasts between the two of us.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm atheist, cognitive dissonance, the thinking atheist, who actually does not, that I know of. I don't think you ever hear any cuss words.
He might say bullshit every once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think Seth's the king, man. Like that's my favorite podcast. But no, and I also think that when we started this show, both of us were in more of a mindset of frustration and anger, and we're still frustrated, but I think that we were letting our frustration come out as anger in the beginning. And if you can't tell listeners, we've softened up a little bit, I think, in the last couple of episodes. So? I feel like we have. I think we're still tough on.
We've shown the really stupidness going on. In fact, there's a clip I have queued ready to go. I don't know whether I should play it, because we've already spent 20 minutes, I think, on Duck Dynasty.
Oh, well, we could just, if you don't want to play it, I guess it's probably quoted, just a condensed little...
Yeah.
If we can read what he said.
We spent a lot of time on his freedom of speech, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Okay.
So I asked that boy, I said, listen, he was out there a while ago. I said, are y'all dating? He had his little girl with him there, I said, y'all dating or are you married? He said, well, we're dating. I said, well, son, I'm going to give you some river rat counseling here. Make sure that she can cook a meal. You need to eat some meals that she cooks. Check that out. Make sure she carries her Bible. That'll save you a lot of trouble down the road. And if she picks your ducks, now that's a woman. They got to where they're getting hard to find. Mainly because these boys are waiting till they get to be about 20 years old before they marry them. Look, you wait till they get to be 20 years old, the only picking that's going to take place is your pocket. You got to marry these girls when they're about 15 or 16, they'll pick your ducks. You need to check with mom and dad about that, of course. The reason you Georgia boys can deer hunt, duck hunt, squirrel hunt, hog hunt, that's the reason you can do it. What I'm holding in my hand right there. That'd be a Bible. You say, now let me get this right. If it were not for this, you would not hunt here. Nope.
I'm going to go ahead and cut it because I don't think the rest of it's necessary.
No, that last part made no damn sense anyway.
I am not against hunting. I have no problems with hunting. I mean, it is what it is. I want to put that out there. I have no problems with guns. I am a liberal, and I have no problems with hunting or guns.
Yeah.
I just wanted that out there. I don't have a problem with the way people, I mean, if you're going to go out and hunt and you're going to provide for your family and you're going to use the animal, fantastic. That's awesome. However, when you talk about somebody who is all about the Word of God, and I don't know that it does or doesn't say that you should or shouldn't marry at a young age, but most of us today would probably look at that and think that is nuts. You have not given that child enough time to grow and understand the world, and it's going to lead to a divorce later down the road or something. I mean, I'm not a licensed therapist or whatever, psychologist.
Right.
I can't say that is the case, but I mean, you're going to wind up finding yourself in a relationship with somebody and realize that you want nothing to do with them.
Yes. Well, and that's the way the world is today. You just you don't want it. You don't get married at 15, 16 years old. This is now going back into the 1700s, 1800s. Yeah, you did.
People didn't live long.
People didn't live as long. People were forced to become adults at an earlier age just because of the way the world worked then. But now childhood has been extended, and that's just I mean, these people are always looking. They seem to be looking towards a time that they believe was a golden age, and I'm not sure that time ever existed. I just think that regressive kind of thought that just kind of embodies them. Like they're so afraid to move forward. There's this way that they see that. I think a lot of it is fear of moving forward for them.
Yeah, it could be.
But
at the same time, while they fear moving forward, they're still using all those nifty little tools that have come out of scientific advancement.
Yeah, they sure are. And then they have the gall to talk about how you know what I'm about to say.
Science is evil.
Yeah. I mean,
I know.
They'll sit there and dog on science and scientists and the process of science as you shoot it out over invisible frequencies for everyone in real time that cares to read it. Everyone in the world that has an internet connection that cares to read your comment in seconds can read it. You've got a voice through this thing that was created through, the scientific method. At some point, that's how these things come about.
Yeah.
And, but that's for another day.
Okay, so we've got one more thing that's kind of on the negative side of things, and I know that we're trying to be a little more positive. So shall we go for the right-wing watch roulette?
Yeah, I think we should still do that. And just a real quick side note, I want to kind of echo you as far as hunting. If you're using the animal, like you said, for food or clothing, decoration, blah, blah, blah. Sure, if that's how you want to feed your family, I get it. Like, the way Ted Nugent's a whack job, but he...
On certain respects. On other respects, he's quite the conservative as far as using...
That's about what I was going to say. Like, I actually respect what he does. Like, he doesn't actually go out to grocery stores and buy food.
Right.
He hunts his meat. He grows his vegetables.
Right.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He replenishes the land.
He
cuts down trees. He replants trees. I mean, that's the way the guy is.
When I see a picture, though, of a person holding a rifle, taking a picture over a dead lion in the safari...
Oh, man.
That bothers me.
Yeah, it pisses me off.
I mean, safari animals are endangered. A lot of them are endangered, as it is. And
for over hunting and poaching.
There's no reason to kill those animals, and that bothers me. And in guns, I don't really have that big of a problem with guns. I think we need to buckle down a little bit more in the laws, the gun safety law, or you know what I'm saying.
Dude, I love shooting guns.
Yeah,
I love it. There's a certain amount of
It's all right. I mean, I don't own one. I probably never will. But I don't have a problem with people who do.
I agree.
As long as they're responsible. I just think that there should be more stringent background checks and better regulation. And that makes me somehow a commie.
You commie socialist, hippie liberal.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, moving on to right-wing watch roulette.
Kind
of ties in with our first.
It does. It kind of goes right back to the first part. So I don't think we have any fun music with this, but normally we get that little ding, 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 but not in this one, I don't think. So anyway, right-wing watch roulette.
To all humanists and atheists listening to this telecast, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness will not be in danger in any way if someone says Merry Christmas around you. Someone will argue, well, it's a Christian prayer. Yes, it is. And this is the United States of America that was founded by Christians on Christian principles according to the Word of God. Contrary to what some people are saying in Washington, we are still one nation under God.
He's a funny-looking man.
And then the humanists argue, well, what about the atheist? And my response is, what about them? No one is asking you to be baptized in the side of a manger. No one is going to pass the collection plate if you go by a manger. If you pass a manger scene and someone is singing Joy to the World, you can take your Walkman and stuff it into your ears, or you can call your lawyer, or you can just exercise your right to leave the country. Planes are leaving every hour on the hour. Get on one.
Oh, there. We do have fun music.
Well, that was a bunch of revisionist crap.
Man, I'm sorry. I think it just all. I mean, maybe we should have played that earlier, but those people are out there, and I think we just wanted to share it. What was that guy's name?
Pastor John Hagee.
John Hagee.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a guy. I'd like him to exercise his right to leave the country. No, that's just wrong. I shouldn't say that.
No.
He has a right to be here.
He has
as much
a right.
as we do.
Yes. And
Or do we? You could take that back a few hundred years.
well, if you look at it that way. But we have established a government here, and
Yeah.
and under the laws and rights that have been granted, to us, both atheists and religious people have a right to be here. And first off, not everyone, I think we all know this, not everyone that founded this country was a Christian.
Right.
There were plenty of deists in that group. And Thomas Jefferson has a boatload of quotes that pretty explicitly reveal his position on Christianity. He wasn't a big fan. He even took the Bible and made his own Jefferson Bible, you know. And
Cut out sections of it.
cut out the miracles and all the supernatural stuff. And we know about the Treaty of Tripoli. We've talked about that before, which the United States is in no sense founded on the Christian religion. Come on.
We've gone over this a few times.
There's too much information out there for everyone to have. We all have access to so much information now. He's not fooling anybody. This old man may have been able to do this back in 1980 whatever, or 1970 whatever, but unfortunately he has not progressed with the information age, because he's still talking about Walkman.
Yeah, I have to say that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so we
It's
know,
like Walkman. What's a Walkman?
yeah, it's not. There's not a lot that he had to say there that was actually true. I mean, he's spouting his opinion of things, but as far as, no, this is not a nation for Christians. It's for all citizens of the United States, regardless of religion,
Mm-hmm.
sexual orientation,
And keep it out of the government.
race. Yeah. So,
Religion,
yeah,
that is.
not a whole lot to say about Hagee there. I think we all know he's an extreme kind of voice on the right, and
Right.
he's got a lot of people hooting and hollering for him there.
Yeah. I think I had a lot of pent up aggression towards all this war on Christmas and everything else that happened over the last month, and I think I just wanted to get it out.
Yeah.
So we may have taken a whole negative approach to this show, more so than I wanted to.
Yeah.
We wanted to, but you yourself actually found a positive story that has to do with religion.
Yeah. Well, I think that we all like Pope Francis.
Pope Francis is an enigma.
Yeah, he's trying to move the Catholic Church in a more progressive direction, which is very much appreciated by people on the secular end of things like ourselves. And well, there's a a lot of people, this article that we read here, it's from the Examiner. The title of the article is Pope Francis dumps a United States cardinal who has spoken out against equality. A lot of people had criticized Pope Francis as being a lot of talk and no action.
Right.
Well, this cardinal is not only against gay rights, but he's also outspoken against some women's rights, probably in the reproductive area, I would imagine. So he's a misogynist and homophobic. And the Pope went ahead and released Cardinal Raymond Burke, former Archbishop of St. Louis. Now, I think that's great. I think it sends a message to the Catholic Church, because you still have people like Bill Donahue. He's the part of the whole Catholic League in the United States, the spokesman, who are very conservative and very anti-marriage equality. And I think that this may send a message to that kind of right-wing Catholic, that this Pope isn't going to stand for it.
Right.
So that may change the face. That who knows, you might start seeing some of these hard right Catholics moving away from Catholicism and into Protestantism, because, I mean, oh man, if you look at the Baptists and the Pentecostals, they're going to welcome the hard right religious people with open arms.
Right.
Because while we may be seeing progress on the Catholic side of things, we're still not seeing a lot of it within the Protestant denominations.
Seems to be an awful lot of hate and anger over there.
Yeah. Which is funny, because the original Protestant movement was moving away from an oppressive Catholic church.
Yes, it was. And it was giving women rights to...
Yeah. And now they've become less progressive than the Catholic Church.
It's funny how time changes things.
Yeah. I just think it's... eventually people are going to see the silliness of all of this. I don't think I would say we won't be alive when that happens, but it's trending in that direction. Come on.
It's a slippery slope.
Everybody's given a different interpretation of what God wants.
Yeah.
Somebody's wrong. And my assumption is all of them.
Yeah, but I am not going to change my view on religion. I've seen religion do too many bad things, not enough good things. However, this Pope gives me hope that people might be able to change a little bit.
Yep.
I hope that people really take into reason and explore more.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like what he's trying to do. I mean, he's certainly turned some tables over. But at the same time, he didn't actually get rid of that archbishop, because he's actually still in charge of some high court or something.
Yeah. But, he did remove him from a post.
Yeah.
But
he's still there.
now, and just to kind of add on to that, while we're on Pope Francis, remember earlier I had noted that Pope Francis said that there is no literal hell. I actually...
I don't know that I heard that.
Yeah, that you can find that story. Let me see here. I don't want to sit and... I got it. This is a strange website. I hope this is not spyghana.com. I saw it on a more credible source yesterday. But anyway, in a speech that shocked many, the Pope claimed all religions are true because they are true in the hearts of all of those who believe them. What other kind of truth is there? In the past, the Church has been harsh on those it deemed morally wrong or sinful. Today, we no longer judge. Like a loving father, we never condemn our children. Our Church is big enough for heterosexuals and homosexuals, for the pro-life and the pro-choice, for conservatives and liberals. Even communists are welcome and have joined us. We all love and worship the same God. And he goes on to talk about how hell is, it's not a real place. It's something that's been pumped up by the people of the Church over the years. And it's not something that... It is mentioned kind of cryptically throughout the New Testament. It's not mentioned in the Old Testament at all. But you don't really get a really detailed description of what hell is anywhere in the Bible. So hell is as we know it, is a very human... Well, the whole book is a very human invention, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very non-biblical invention.
You know what I want to know? Where the hell is Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny? They never talk about them.
Oh, right. Well, we do know that they're both white. Megan Kelly will. Jesus was white too. You know that because people in the Middle East, they're white.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just white. Kids, if you're listening. But let's not talk about her.
Oh man, I may have derailed you a little bit, but I think we got the point right.
Yeah.
Way to go, Pope Francis.
I still think Bill Maher might have a point when he says this Pope's an atheist, but...
Who knows? Who knows? We never know. I tend to think that it's a generalization, but I tend to think that atheists are probably more peaceful than any religious group as a whole.
Yeah. There are some angry jerk-off atheists out there.
There are.
But
just like there are some... It's the same everywhere you go. There's always going to be somebody. Somebody's there to ruin a party.
Totally.
I would like to move on. We've gotten a few emails lately, and like we said, we've been slow on the show.
Yeah.
We've only produced a couple shows in this month. But I did stumble across an email from a very wonderful woman in California just a couple days ago.
Does she want her name spoken?
I'll just say Michelle. I'm not going to go any further than that. So I want to say first, thank you, Michelle, for writing us. And I think I signed our return emails, myself as Mike, and I think I named Paul earlier. But, well, now, Michelle, you know that Paul is no longer Paul. He's Keith.
Mm-hmm.
And she has her original email. Hey, guys, I stumbled across your podcast 2 to 3 weeks ago. And she talks about how long her commute is, and she just finished the Thanksgiving podcast today, and now she's left wondering, what will she listen to tomorrow on her way home? Is there another episode coming soon? So I responded to her and asked her some questions, and she gave me a long response. So, I just wanted to kind of read through this. She says thanks for the response. She knows that because of the holidays, it is hard to keep things going. She does look forward to the show number 7 right now that we're talking about. Her backstory is, this is kind of something I want to drum up. I want to know our listeners' backstories. What got them to where they are today? Because
right.
I think that's always a fun story to listen to, because then I think it really helps unite us as a whole, because I think we all have very similar stories.
Yeah, send those to us. I mean, you can send them to us regardless of if you want us to read them or not. Like, if you'd rather us not read them, just let us know. We won't read them.
Right. But
I think it would be great if we could somehow do an episode about.
Oh yeah.
Just listeners, like, hey, here's our story. Kind of just.
Absolutely.
This is where our listeners are coming from. Mm-hmm. Like, just hearing, and I think that's so helpful because, Seth has done things like that on the Thinking Atheist here and there, and that really helped me so much.
Oh, yeah.
To hear from other people.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing to see how many people are out there.
It's nice to know that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get those to us at beinghumanist.podcast@gmail.com. That's our actual email address. You can also get to us on Facebook and leave a message for us there, facebook.com/beinghumanist.podcast. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and read her story. I'm 33, married, with 2 girls in elementary school. My husband is a non-practicing Catholic. His parents handle all the praying for him. My parents were both raised religiously. My dad raised in a Catholic school, mom raised Baptist. Although my parents never pushed religion on us, the idea that it was proper to believe in God always felt like it was there. I was probably about 10 when I questioned the meaning of life. I compared it to an arcade game, one that once your quarter, one gone so far. I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm totally ripping apart your email.
One that once your quarter was gone, so was your life.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. That was the only way 5th grade me could rationalize it. No heaven, no hell, no afterlife, just life. That made sense to me, which is fantastic because I wouldn't say I looked at it like an arcade game, but at the same time, I totally feel with that. I came to a realization that yes, when I die, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing, and I don't really care.
That's a cool analogy.
Yeah. She defined herself as an atheist in high school. I felt it important to label myself that way and never hesitated to tell anyone and everyone. I was a punk teenager that thought it was cool to shock people. I tried some college, but spent most of my time in the library trying to further define myself. In my need to categorize myself, the most fitting label I could find was a humanist. Yay! I grew up and I stopped being so dramatic about shocking people with my godless life views. Those closest to me and know who I am. Some friends still think I just haven't found religion yet, and sadly, I do not have any friends that share my atheistic view on life. I don't deny who I am to anyone. It's important for me to be honest, but it's more important for me to know when not to push my views on other people. I certainly don't appreciate it when other people try to push their views on me. So, I mean, I feel a kinship there, you know.
Sure. She's kind of... I think her story is a little more related to you because she doesn't come from as much of a religious belief background like myself, so that's cool.
Fast forward to present day Michelle and the story and how she found us. I like this. This makes me all happy.
Oh, yeah.
Lately, one of my closest friends has been going through a tough time with her family and turned to church and prayer to solve her problems. I do not hold it against her. She is who she is. But now that she commits so much of her time to the church and praying that her problems go away, I felt as though she didn't have a place in her life for her atheist friend anymore. I felt her pulling away from me, and my mind processed it as her removing me from her life since I represented an old part of her that she was trying to change. Probably a little extreme thinking on my part. I was being an emotional girl, but it inspired me to want to start defining myself again. Re-justify to myself that you do not need to be a religious person to be a good person. I was curious how other humanists, other humanists or secular humanists coexisted with Christians. So Google has become her new best friend. But it's against the law to Google while driving, so I searched iTunes for Humanist podcasts for something to listen to in the car. Your show was among them. I chose your podcast because of how new it was. I wanted to start from the beginning of the podcast, not in the middle of one. I bravely listened at work with headphones to the first episode. Did I mention my direct supervisor was an ordained minister on the side? That gets awkward. I've decided not to explain my religious views to him anytime soon. The first episode had me hooked. While you guys were talking about your backstories, I was remembering mine. Although I love laughing out loud at some of the ridiculousness of the hardcore religious sound bites, and I do actually laugh out loud, it kills the conversation because what more can you say other than these people are ridiculous? We already know that. So she likes the more scientific, thought-provoking clips that we provide. She says, I haven't spent the last 10 years researching and reading about these things. Honestly, she doesn't have time. I would rather hear 2 hours of talk about evolution than 2 hours of the 700 Club. The lists and quotes you guys find are great too. Fun stuff. Thanks for reading, and sorry if I rambled. I don't have anyone to talk about this stuff with. Maybe that's why I enjoy the podcast. Just two friends talking, and I'm a little jealous that I don't have that too. And she also says, P.S., she's 100% against Black Friday shopping.
Good. I think that's great. Especially the last part that where she talks about she likes listening to the podcast because she doesn't have anyone to talk about this stuff with. Well, I can understand that. Like, at first, I felt the same when I first realized I was having these feelings and they were just uncontrollable. I had to tackle faith head on. But then I remembered, oh yeah, Mike's an atheist. So it is nice to have somebody to talk to. And maybe, Michelle, hopefully, I really hope that you can find someone that shares your views. I mean, if you don't, you don't. I mean, you can still enjoy people either way. But I see where you're coming from there. It is very nice to have somebody who you can talk about these things with, and you can talk about us. You can talk about it with us anytime. We'll read your emails every time, I guarantee it. So, and I totally agree with Michelle on more science-related stuff.
Yeah, we did too. We were
philosophy.
Yeah,
like, I think we were just dumbfounded by how crazy some people are out there. And we'll definitely, I think we're going to end up playing out with something today. The mother of inspirational scientific-minded.
I did respond to her, by the way, afterward, telling her that we agree. And even though we agree, we didn't really follow that with this show.
Mm-hmm.
But we are excited about the new version of the Cosmos.
Oh, yeah, the Neil deGrasse Tyson version.
I sent her a little preview link that's about 3 minutes long on YouTube, so she can watch that if she didn't already know about it. So again, thank you, Michelle. It was very awesome to hear from you. We want to put out, I suppose it's about time to close the show.
Yeah.
We'll have all the links and whatnot from whatever we got, so you can see them for yourself on our YouTube page / our podcast, so that you can see where everything's referenced from. Don't forget to email us at beinghumanist.podcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Being Humanist, facebook.com/beinghumanist.podcast. And YouTube is youtube.com/beinghumanistpodcast.
Right.
There is no dot in that one. They wouldn't let me put one in there.
Huh. I think that's good.
I was lost for a second. What do I do? Oh, man. We're 7 shows in on this podcast show. Never really done radio, so it's like sometimes dead silence happens, and it's like that's the worst fear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it's live. But then again, I'm not really editing these shows either. I'm just kind of like putting them out there.
Yeah.
So
you guys are getting the rawest form of the show.
Pretty much. And I think we really want to try to bring in some more people to talk to, too. We want to go after some actual Christians and see if anybody wants to join the show and have conversation with us. I think we might invite our buddy James back to talk again.
Yeah, that's been talked about recently.
Any questions, concerns, thoughts, whatever that you want to talk to us about, go ahead. We'd love to hear from you, and I guess that's that.
Yeah.
I'm Mike, and
I'm Keith.
And keep thinking.
Keep thinking.
And enjoy this fantastic minute-long clip as we'll end the show.
The late, great Carl Sagan.
We wish to pursue the truth no matter where it leads. But to find the truth, we need imagination and skepticism both. We will not be afraid to speculate, but we will be careful to distinguish speculation from fact. The cosmos is full beyond measure of elegant truths, of exquisite interrelationships, of the awesome machinery of nature. The surface of the Earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. On this shore, we've learned most of what we know. Recently, we've waded a little way out, maybe ankle deep, and the water seems inviting. Some part of our being knows this is where we came from. We long to return. And we can't, because the cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself.